welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ben. Today we are doing 3 books, Batman and Robin number 38, Wolverines number 3, and Gotham Academy number 1. We're actually going to do Gotham Academy all the way to issue 4 at least, if not more, just because the author asked a few bloggers and a few comic reviewers to check out the book, and I'm really glad she did, so, you know, we'll get to that in a minute. But first off, let's kick things off a little bit with Batman and Robin 38. The story is by Peter J. Tomasi, and pencils are by Patrick Gleason. Featuring the triumphant return of Damian Wayne. I mean, like, he's been around for a while now, but, like, this is finally Damian Wayne, like, being Robin.
Yeah.
Damian Wayne, the son of Batman.
Damian Wayne, the superpowered boy.
The dead son of Batman who was resurrected on Apocalypse. It's a little context for you. Initial thoughts on Batman and Robin number 38? I thought it was rad.
I was expecting you to answer.
Oh, I was
thought it
expecting you
pretty
to
fun.
answer.
It was definitely a fun book. I really like the attitude of all the characters in this. They felt very unique. Bruce was Batman. Damian was definitely this Robin character with some angst and some, like, I'm going to explore this character. Alfred was Alfred. It was cool.
Because I don't read any of the Batman books, right? What the hell is happening?
Yeah.
Not even a clue.
Oh, no.
Having just read this, I'm like, clearly there was so much backstory to this that I cannot possibly just jump into this. Like, why is this happening behind us? Why can he just take bullets to the chest?
Right, why is he super? I don't know.
Why is he having fever dreams? I'm like, yeah, it was cool, but it wouldn't make me want to pick it up simply because of the fact it feels so enormous and, like, overwhelming. Like, if they put that together in a trade where they're like, here was the story of Damian Wayne.
Oh, man, that'd be a long trade.
Then I'd pick that up.
Alright, the story was, as I said earlier, pretty rad. I definitely agree with Tiff, your point about how, like, things are very, like...
discombobulated.
Yeah, well, like, it's a double-edged sword, because, like, there are so many really cool things that happen, like, Damian Wayne has superpowers, but why?
Yeah.
Or, Damian Wayne has monster offspring clones. I kind of get that, because I read some of that.
And his mother is Talia al Ghul.
Yes.
That's cool.
That
right?
I knew.
That is,
that
yeah.
one I knew.
But-
so that didn't surprise me.
But there's always, like, some kind of, like, but there's also this. Like, really cool thing, but also this other thing. That, like, makes it difficult for me to connect.
But also, she's got snakes coming out of her mouth.
Right.
That dream sequence really kind of freaked me out.
Yeah.
I was like, what is
You know what's
Well,
funny? It's right there. I was like, yeah, right.
Alright, let's talk
All
about
right.
the art. Like, what do we think about how this book looked? There are some moments in this book that looked fucking awesome. Damian taking 1,000 bullets at once, a la Superman, for me, was really cool. Like, it looked great, it was neat, because it's like, like, for me, Robin is dead. Like, all the time, Robin dies at dawn, death in the family, Damian Wayne, like, Robin. This Robin's like, takes 1,000 bullets, and he's like, fuck you.
Shrugs it
You're
off.
like, yes! Finally, like, it's Robin's reckoning.
really cool lines, great characters. The scenes were set up very cool.
Yeah.
Liked it.
Out of the gate, the art style they chose for this book, I didn't get until the dream sequence. Like, I was like, what's going on here? Because it's... Yeah, there's some grit to it, and it has, like, you know, a certain, like, roughness to it. And I was like, that's cool, and that kind of fits for Batman. But then the dream sequence came along, and I was like, I get it.
That's why they got this guy.
Well, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what has happened, but, like, it really fits. They were your standard, almost kind of, like, here's a comic book.
Yes.
Coloration to it. But then there would be these amazing moments, like, where they're in the Batmobile, and it's just, like, red. And I was like, it's gorgeous. It's like a graphic punch in the face.
Right.
You know? Like, it was amazing. So, the scene between the two of them in the car after the fight, like, that's an important scene.
It is.
And, like, using that style of coloration really is just, like, and now you know it's an important scene.
Yes. Do we recommend this title for other people?
Yes.
I'd recommend it, yeah. I think it's totally worth picking up.
You might be confused.
Oh, totally.
I think as a first book, I wouldn't start there.
No.
I wouldn't start with that one, but, like, if you know something about this, or you, like, are invested in this, and you think you'd pick up the rest of them, yeah, go for it.
No, I don't know. I mean, like, I think if someone's willing to take the journey, I would recommend this as a first book. They'd have to go back. But, like, I'd be like, yeah, if you're wondering what's up with Damian Wayne and stuff, pick this up.
Alright, if you want to give a book to somebody and a Batman book that has shock value,
Right.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin number 38 from DC Comics. You can.
By the
check it
way,
out.
how is this the only time that someone has let loose a machine gun on
Batman,
and Robin,
right? Like,
and aimed it at Robin?
yeah, they should normally do that.
You think it would be pretty standard right now? Be like, oh, well, here's this little meat shield.
Yep. There's
Done.
yeah. With a
I've gone
target.
through like 30,000 Robins. It's terrible.
No, he flips.
Yeah, they have batarangs and,
You gotta
and acrobatic skills.
smoke.
Next up on Off the Rack, we're doing Wolverines number 3 by Charles Soule and Juan Doe. This was another book we were like, hey, I didn't read this. Let's try it out.
Let's give it a shot.
Initial thoughts on Wolverines number 3.
There were so many Wolverines in this book.
Right?
There was like...
I liked it.
I'll tell you what, 2/3 of that book, I was like, yes! Most of the book is Phantom L fighting...
Culpepper.
And yes, thank you. Fighting the Punisher.
And that
it's
was cool.
Really neat.
That's the first half of the book. And the second half of the book is important backstory, which really helps, but I am so lost.
Yeah, it's only the 3rd issue, and I have no goddamn idea what's happening in this title. Let's talk about the writing, first of all. I thought that Phantom L's a really neat character. She's got a really interesting voice. The idea of, like, stealing artifacts from the Marvel Universe and, like, selling them on eBay, more or less, is, like, a wonderful concept and brilliantly executed. Not like the actual like clicking and selling, but the more of the procuring of these items.
Yeah.
Especially the item that they're looking for, and the bit of continuity that's in there. I don't want to spoil too much, but it was really fun. I was like, that's awesome!
Yeah, I left.
I had a good time, and it left me kind of intrigued. I don't know about wanting more, but I was intrigued about what's coming up next.
I really like the interaction between Phantom L and Culpepper. Their dialogue back and forth was great.
I read the preview thing.
Yeah,
in the
me too.
beginning. So I kind of thought I had
A good handle on
a good
it.
handle on what was going on. So like when the ending of this book happened, I was like, okay. I will say this: I wasn't expecting many Wolverines.
Well, I was expecting like people who were like jockeying for the title or something like that. I don't know. There are so many
What?
different stories where a protagonist dies or goes away, and then there are a bunch of people who like want to take the title of that
Right.
on, and that's what kind of was implied by like I remember seeing the cover for the first one and all these different characters like kind of.
But I thought they were fighting over the adamantium. Like,
Oh.
as a resource. Like,
Right.
well, we want this.
Oh, that's funny. I thought that based on the thing that I read, that the Wolverines were really it had to do with healing factor.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, I found that afterwards. We're just like,
Oh.
What do we think about the art for this book?
The art was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I wasn't blown away, but it wasn't like it was. It was in no way amateur. It was really cool.
I was
but,
a
like,
little
you know.
blown away, especially with the entire sequence with the Punisher. But it's not like breaking boundaries for you.
No,
it's not like,
yeah.
oh my god, they did this.
Yeah, there was no breakout moment for me.
There was a moment like that for me.
Really? What was
yeah.
it?
There's a panel right in the beginning when they're approaching the Punisher, but it's kind of almost the reveal of that.
Yeah.
And the composition on the panel I really liked because you're looking into the room and Culpepper's here. And it's just a really good use of a foreground image to push the background back, but
Yeah.
it's also like Culpepper. I'm not sure what kind of creature it is,
Some
or
sort of
who can
mystical
see
fox.
it, or anything like
Yeah.
that. But the art style and the line quality that they use, I don't know. It conveys a really great like fur texture, which is really cool. But it also really conveys that I'm not certain if it's like a
Real
physical
or
being
not.
or not a
Yeah.
physical being.
Yeah.
And the coloring on this book, I
yeah.
really loved the coloring on this book. There were so many great, vibrant colors to it, and like panel composition, especially in that one where it's like the red and then the
Yeah.
it's really nice. I feel like this book is not indicative of what the Wolverine storyline
No,
is about.
this is a guilty pleasure for
But
Charles
I will
Soule
say
to tell
this:
this story.
I would read a Phantom L book.
Yeah.
If they put out like a limited run series of her escapades,
Yeah.
I would totally pick that up in a heartbeat.
This entire story was, well, let's tell this story, but don't worry, in the last panel, we'll get back to
Yeah.
Wolverine.
Anyway, getting back to the main story.
Here's
It's
the
like
tie-in to
the
the actual
context
play.
page, like this was Mr. Sinister and like Wolverine's body, and I'm like, okay, not in this at all.
Maybe I forgot about that for a second. Maybe that's part of the reason why I was like, okay, cool.
Oh, no, I
remember Mr. Sinister.
I was
from the cartoon
totally.
show.
I remember Mr. Sinister because I read X-Men in the '90s, and I can tell you I was thrilled not to see him in this book.
I was like, oh, a name I know.
Do we recommend this title, Wolverines number 3?
I'm confused, and that's bad.
Right.
I like this story, but I have no idea how it ties in, so I don't recommend this yet.
I would say if you want a really neat idea, if you want a really neat story about this character you've never heard of, go for it. Also, neat little, if you're a Punisher fan, you're not really seeing him too much, so
It's
check
a
it out.
brilliant cameo.
It's like he's a force of nature in this book, which is really awesome.
Yeah, this book kind of felt like a PS to a Marvel movie.
It did.
Where it's like she's doing her own thing, and then like it's time to build the team, and they're like,
Yeah.
get in the van. It's
Right.
time to go.
It was cool.
So I don't know where it's going. But like as like this almost pseudo one shot, I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
But if you're on board to see where Wolverines is going, then yeah, you definitely should pick this
move
up
on.
because I guess it might be important.
I would
guess.
hope so.
I mean, like she might be a part of something.
Oh, no doubt.
I don't know.
Yeah.
She's cool.
There you go. Wolverines number 3. Kind of neat.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on. Slicked.
She really needs. Okay.
Next up, Gotham Academy number 1, with story by Becky Cloonan and Brendan Fletcher, with art by Carl Kerschel, with colors by Geyser, Misasik, and Sergei Lapointe.
You did good.
Let's talk about this story. Becky Cloonan reached out to a bunch of bloggers and asked them to give the stories a look. We have issues 1 through 4. We've read a couple of them, but right now we're just going to focus on number 1, and hopefully over the coming weeks we'll talk about Gotham Academy's number 2, 3, and 4, and possibly number 5, who knows. But for now, let's just stick with number 1. This is a story in the New 52, set in continuity, about a private school in Gotham.
Which is cool.
Okay.
One I never really knew existed.
Nope.
And I just overall impressions of the story, I thought it was really cool.
I had a really nice time reading this. I immediately got sucked into this story and just became part of these kids' world.
Let me tell you, like, the first issue, I honestly, when I was reading it, I was like, Gotham Academy, right. And it didn't have the cover with it, so I actually didn't see the cover until after we looked at, like, other versions, and I had to look it up halfway through reading it to make sure it was actually the Gotham of the DC Universe. But no, it's set in the DC Universe, and it's abundantly clear the more you go, the deeper down the rabbit hole you go.
Well, once they say Bruce Wayne, you're kind of like...
That's true.
Yeah, that's Gotham.
It's like anime Harry Potter with Batman in it, which sounds pretty freaking cool to me.
Minus the magic.
But I did have fun with it.
Yeah.
You know this is going to be up my alley, so.
Yeah, halfway through reading this, I'm like, oh,
Tiffany's gonna love
I
it.
found a Tiffany book.
I like horror and anime, okay?
Let's talk about the writing for Gotham Academy. I thought that the characters are all unique. They had great voices, and the story was fun. I liked the characters more than I liked the story, but I had a fun time reading it anyway.
I dug this story as well as the characters. I didn't know the direction that it was being taken in, so
No.
I really just jumped into the book being like, all right,
Where are
let's
we
see where this
going?
goes.
Yeah.
Take me on a journey. And that journey didn't go where I expected. I really expected, like, no, Batman's going to be involved, and, like, Robin's going to teach a class. Like, I really thought Gotham Academy was going to be, like
Like a bat
superhero
school.
training. That's not where it went at all.
Honestly,
and I was like, oh, that's what this... Oh, okay.
I thought it was going to be like the opposite. I thought it was going to be like an editorially mandated, like, no Batman. Gotham Academy, no Batman. No Batman stuff. I don't even want to see a bat in this book.
But you do see. Within the first few pages, I thought it definitely answered the question of, those expectations. Because, our protagonists aren't miniature young versions of commonly known characters.
Right.
It's not like this is that kind of story. You're also introduced to the headmaster swiftly, and that is also not a prevalent
Nope.
character in the DC universe. So right there, I was like, all right, I already know where this is going. But I'm also an anime fan, so like, for me, I was like, this is a school story. All right, cool. Like, but I'm like, I don't question where it's going because I've seen so many stories
that start like that.
that start like this, where I'm just like, well, anything can happen.
And are
so
unpreemptive. Like,
let's
you're
just-
like, I don't know what the fuck is.
All right, let's go because it could be this, it could be that, but I'm not going to guess because I'm going to be wrong. So
Right.
whatever.
I was.
Yeah, I didn't judge a book by its cover. I did judge a book by its title.
They kind of wrote within the tropes where you have like your main female protagonist and then she has the fun sidekick.
Yep.
But they spiced it up a little bit by like changing the dynamic of the
Yeah.
sidekick character, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, Maps was really fun.
Yeah.
She is. But like adding that extra dimension of it being like
Her ex-boyfriend's sister.
but like their relationship's still like kind of weird. I was like, this is angsty, but like not.
But like legitimately.
It's legitimately angsty. It's not typical angst. She has a line that like I was like, okay, this isn't just your typical manga style book. And for me, it was the line that it's a thought she's having where she or she realizes that she doesn't like the person she's becoming. Our
Yeah.
protagonist says that out loud, and I was like, okay.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Let's go on that journey.
Yeah, I really I like that. Like, sure, like I will definitely get involved with a silly like anime manga where it's like, haha.
It's like, I don't like what you're becoming, but I'm just gonna go on the story.
Yeah, and like nobody ever recognizes that, but like this is really cool because it still has that fun feeling of and like that. Almost,
She's going on a journey.
she is going on a journey, but I'm still connected to that feeling of that like same style of book. So like it was like a nostalgia moment, but also like a cool.
Yeah.
Where's this going?
Look, we can't talk about the story without addressing the art, which I think is just gorgeous.
It's amazing, and it really services the story.
I got a real Harry Potter feeling, but not like, like, oh, everything's Harry Potter. Like, more like I want to be there. Like,
It's also not that the world is beautiful. Like, the settings are pretty.
it's grimy.
The building is like old and archaic.
old,
and
I
Gothic,
like it.
and it's nice, but like it has this ability to just draw you in.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like I've been to a number of like old like Gothic buildings and particularly schools, and like I've been there. Like I've been to this building, and I want to be in there, and like I know what it smells like, and it's just you can feel like the environment,
yeah.
the atmosphere. It's really really prevalent, and I think the art really does a wonderful job of selling the characters and the setting.
I also love the fact that nowhere in Gotham is it nice.
No.
You don't have parks. You don't have like nice sunny places and trees. And,
No,
it's all
find
dark and dank, and like there's always this element of crime and dirtiness.
Yeah,
to it.
you find the beauty in like dangerous places.
I felt like I had recognized
The artist.
Herschel's art before. I didn't really. I offhandedly knew about it because he did a cover for Tooth and Claw.
Oh.
He's actually a really fantastic illustrator. When I was looking him up, definitely check out his art. Like, it's really cool. Like, he also just does his own illustrative works, and I feel like it really comes across in this work.
Yeah.
Because every panel is really well composed, and I think that probably comes from the illustration background.
Yeah.
Because he's thinking about each panel as like its own little piece in a sense, and,
Right.
and like all those pieces even put together make an even larger piece, which is, I don't know, it makes it really unique in a sense.
I feel like overall with Gotham Academy, for me, there are no cut corners.
No, I agree.
With character development, with story progression, with art, everything takes its time, and everything pays the respect to the material that needs to be paid. And for that, you have like what should probably be just a graphic novel. Like Gotham Academy for me should just be finished and collected and hardcover and like thick and like just
Oh my god, no, they could do the hardcover where they like emboss the Gotham Academy seal on the cover.
Shit.
do this, please. And this is, by the way, like we have it digitally. This is a book that needs to be printed.
I really feel like too, like this series is just ripe for not only fan art and cosplay,
Oh my God.
but can you imagine the merchandising that could come out of Gotham Academy?
Oh my god, like
I was just
notebooks,
thinking about
pencil toppers,
ties, you can actually
stool
sell
bags,
uniforms.
shoulder canvas bags.
Yeah.
Just everything, like anything school, Gotham Academy. By the way, Ben and I have read the first 4. Tiffany's catching up.
Yeah, I only had a chance to read the one because Ethan wasn't here, so
Yeah.
I kind of like.
She jumped on board. And
But I am gonna read the other one.
Oh my god!
I'm so into this.
But without any
Yeah.
spoilers, here's the thing: what you get with number 1, you get with number 2, 3, and 4. Like
Ooh.
it just continues. There's no slips. There's no breaks. Stories
all flows,
going.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you have to read it all in one sitting.
So, this is a recommend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Buy this book.
Unquestionably, pick up Gotham Academy all the way through, and just don't stop. And then when it gets collected, pick it up again.
Yeah,
buy
'cause
the trade.
It definitely sounds like you wish you could have the trade now.
Yeah,
but
I really
if you don't
do.
buy the single issues, you're never gonna get more stories.
That's the thing, you
So
gotta
do it.
You gotta get your comic shop to order the book and get it in there.
With any of the books.
Yeah.
With any of the books that we've talked about that you're into, or
Yeah.
any other book that you're into in general,
Make sure that your comic shop orders them,
Let
because
them
that's
know.
the way that you get those books sold and get more picked up.
And, and if
Like
you buy them
pre-orders.
digitally, comment or tweet
Yep.
about them.
Yeah.
To let them know that you're interested in it.
Yeah, and by the way, I wanted to point out, here on Off the Rack, we do legitimate, off the cuff, our responses to comics that are out there. If we didn't like it,
we
I
would
think
say
we
that.
would say that.
Yeah.
And we have said that in the
Or
past.
And we've done that before.
We wouldn't have done it.
We probably just wouldn't have done it, but because it was so great, we were like, let's do it. We
Yeah.
have to do it. And so, hopefully, in the next couple of Off the Racks, we'll talk more about Gotham Academy. But even if we don't, You should check it out.
We
It's
highly
great.
recommend it.
And we recommend it legitimately and honestly. Like, there's no bullshit here.
I gotta be honest, I didn't know how these two were gonna, like, as I was reading
you were
it, I
like,
was
wait
like,
a
I have
minute.
no idea how these two are gonna feel about this book. Because
I've watched so much anime thanks to you. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I know where we're going here. At least they're not shooting invisible rail guns with.
it's a quarter and it's awesome.
I know. Anyway, it's a recommend from us, from all of us here on TV Little House and Off the Rack. Hey, wow. That really worked out.
Yeah, that did. I guess I'll just leave it.
Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to click the invitation bar to see every episode of Off the Rack we've ever done. And like and subscribe. It helps out the show. We'll see you guys next time on another episode of Off the Rack. I am Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ben.
See you later.
Don't pretend like you're the world's biggest Star Wars fan. I know you're not.
I'm not saying that. I was asking if you guys would be excited about that.
Oh.
Like, if that was the case, and Star
If it
Wars
was Star
included-
Wars?
If it was comics plus Star Wars?
like what?
Yeah.
Would Star Wars just outrank everything else?
Yeah, easily.
Okay.
Only
Yeah.
because there's reason to think it might be good.
Right. A little bit.
Yeah, because of who's behind it and everything. So, so I have just a little bit of
I'm
hope.
so excited. Yeah, no, I'm for the record, I'm really excited about Star Wars. There's an 88-second trailer coming out on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
When this episode airs, so too will the teaser.
So
for
so
Star
look it up.
Wars. So check it
But
out.
finish this first.
Yeah.
Really,
Watch
this
it
is
already.
really far field, but I'm also really looking forward to Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The trailer
I'm wondering
is
about
hitting
that.
on Thursday, and I cannot wait for that.
I'm really excited for Into the Woods. I like musicals.
Okay.
Hey.